Hey guys, and welcome back to World War II Solitaire board game channel. This is gonna be my next review video of the D-Day Dice 2nd edition series of games. As I promised you guys, this game is, it's such a jungle. It has a ton of big box expansions, a ton of small expansions, and then a ton of promos on top of that. So I promised that with D-Day Dice 2nd edition, I'm gonna go ahead and review it all. And just a note, I am reviewing this game from a solo perspective, and also I'm not gonna go through any kind of playthrough mechanics in this video, since I've already done plenty of playthrough videos. So for playthrough or play examples, please look at my channel or look at the playlist which this video is in, and you'll find plenty of playthrough videos. Okay guys, let's take a look at what's inside of D-Day Dice 2nd edition. So D-Day Dice 2nd edition basically centers around these type of maps. You could call them scenarios. They are double-sided. In this game we receive 6 of these maps, which are going to be a total of 12 scenarios. So for example, you have Exercise Tiger, you have Gold Beach, you have Omaha Beach, and so on. So quite a lot of maps in the base game, and to be quite honest, these are going to keep you busy for a long time. Some of these maps are on the simpler side, and some of them are a bit harder. The further you get in the scenarios, the more advanced they become, because they introduce new optional rules, or not optional rules, they just introduce new rules and so on. You can see that they are numbered. For example, Exercise Tiger is number 1 and Omaha Beach is number 2. And with Exercise Tiger, for example, we have quite a simple scenario. It's not very hard to beat. We don't have too many symbols here that we need to check our reference book to understand. So it has really a great way of introducing those, all of the rules which are in this game in a very good way, that you don't feel overwhelmed in the beginning. And it's never fun constantly having to look at the reference book. So I think it does a really good job doing that. So if, for example, if we look here at that scenario number 1, and I believe I should have scenario number 12 here somewhere. Yep, there we have scenario number 12, which is Pegasus Bridge. You can see that in comparison with Exercise Tiger, there's a lot more going on this scenario. I think that with the expansions there are a total of something like 20 scenarios or 30 scenarios, so quite a lot of scenarios, but we get 12 of those scenarios in the base game. And again, I think that's very cool, because we are going to be occupied with these scenarios for quite a while. And just to go through them all, they are numbered strange, because like I said, there are 12 scenarios, but they could be like 1 and 2 and then 3 on the next one, but that's not how they work. They are not evenly made like that. So on the first map we have Exercise Tiger, and then we have Omaha Beach, and let's find number 3. So here we have Gold Beach as number 3, and scenario number 4 we have Sword Beach. And for scenario number 5 we have Point to Hawk. So it's also kind of cool, I think, how it's not just gonna be the typical beach scenarios. We have cliff climbing. On number 7 is on the back of this, and that is something in French. I think I'm gonna try to pronounce it, Chateau De Vomiselle. So this is not a beach at all. So there are a bunch of scenarios which aren't really beaches, but they were battles which took part of the D-Day battles, like Operation Overlord and Within the Closest Days. And then we have, let's see, number 9, or here we have number 6 for some reason, Virvel Draw. And on the back of that we have Pegasus Bridge, which is number 12. Number 11, Strong Point Hillman. and number 9, Fontaine Battery. And then we have number 10, Strong Point Morris, and number 8, Montfleur Battery. Again, I don't know why they made it like that. That's a little bit strange. I would have preferred if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if you get my drift. But anyway, it's not a big problem. So while we are storming these beaches, we have a bunch of different nations that we can use. There are more nations in the expansions, but in this basic game, we have 4 different nations we can use. We have the US, we have England, we have Canada, and then we have France. I think this is cool that they have the nations, because if you want to, you could just Google whatever scenario you want to play, and then you could go ahead and play whatever nation took part in that battle. Because, I mean, for example, Omaha Beach is going to be the US, and I think Sword Beach were perhaps either they were British or Canadians. I can't remember, but I think the US only stormed Utah and Omaha. So that's, I think, a cool way to play the game if you prefer to play, historically. And the way they differ is with the RWBs, the combinations that you can roll to get bonuses. For example, we can look here at the US. If you get the 3 soldiers, you're gonna get 8 soldiers totally, but that's not gonna be 8 with all of them. Sorry, that is gonna be 8 with all of them. But let's Dead Man's Gift, let's look at that instead. So Dead Man's Gift gains you 17 item points and 2 stars. But for the British, that would give you instead 20 item points. So I would definitely prefer the American bonus there. And for the French ones, Dead Man's Gift only gains you 15 item points. So that's quite a difference to 17 item points and 2 stars. But then I'm guessing that the French are going to have some other very good RWB bonus. So anyway, they differ a little bit and give you a little bit of mix-up. On top of that, you are going to get one of these resource card for every nation. And you are going to get specialists also for every nation. You are going to get reserve specialists and regular specialists for the US, for the British, for the Canadians, and for the French. And then you're also going to get unit dice, which basically shows where your squad is located on the scenario. And while we're talking about specialists, we also get some great specialists. And these are unique specialists and ranking specialists, which are just used for any nation that you play. So if you decide to play with the US, you're going to use these, and you're going to add these to your roster. A bunch of cards in this game. We have so many awards. You can win these with RWBs or gain them with different items. And items, we have quite a lot of items as well. These are just our regular items. And then we have special items. And on top of that, we also have vehicles. Out of all these cards that you see laid out here, there are only a handful that we can't use in solo. There are a total of 3 regular items. Those are the Dispatch Case, Mortar, and Carrier Pigeon. 1 award, which is the Victoria Cross, and 1 ranking specialist, which is the Lieutenant, which we can't use. But speaking about the Lieutenant, very nice, they've actually decided to put a solo lieutenant in the game. So this lieutenant is specifically made for playing solo. So that's a very good, nice touch. We get a bunch of counters. I personally haven't really used those. And we get just a bunch of dice, because these are going to be dice for playing, with 4 players. So these are the dice I use personally, and then, you're going to have more dice, because again, these are dice for 4 people. You get a very simple rule book, I think, with great examples, and on top of that we also have some very nice optional rules. I always liked optional rules, because we can have an easier game or harder game with these optional rules. And we have our scenario book, which in the beginning describes all of these map specific rules, and then we also have a battle map description of each of the 12 different scenarios. So we have scenario, you see we have scenario 1 to 12 in this game. So very cool. So that's what you get in the basic game. And I've seen a lot of people ask, okay, so are you gonna need the expansions to enjoy this game? Definitely not. I've barely touched on the expansions, even though I have enjoyed them very much. But with just basic game, I had so much fun. And I was looking at my Kickstarter page, and I realized it was like 2 years ago I received this game, and you know, I've had so much fun with this game in that time. It feels crazy, you know, that it was so long ago and I'm still playing this game for at least every month or so. So no, you don't need any expansions, but if you like this game a lot, you are gonna want to get the expansions as well. So anyway, this is the basic game. Stay tuned to my channel. I am gonna go ahead and show you every expansion, every promo, and every mini expansion for this game, to give you a little bit clarity of, you know, what's actually in this expansion. That's also one problem with the expansions, that there's so many expansions and it's a little bit hard. If you haven't played the expansion, it's kind of hard understanding what's actually inside of them from the description from the publisher. So anyway, guys, stay tuned to the channel. I hope you liked the video. Please do subscribe. See you next time.